Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's a house!
Did you hear what I said?
5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.
Come on, man. What's wrong with you? You know, that's just one step above stupid.
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
Well, I think that's an actual live feed shot of Blue. Pretty sure he's alive there. Oh, there he goes. He blinked. He blinked. All right. Well, hey, thanks up there to FarQ, and that is her their name, you know, FarQ. Gifted 5 memberships, but only 4 were given out. So I'm not sure what happened there, but who knows what YouTube did? Who knows? Kind of have a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to do the Heuermann, the original arrest warrant compared to those documents. We were talking about that last night, but first we're going to do the Stephan Stearns and then the Delphi update, and then we'll get started on the Reck Heuermann crap. Yeah, so anyways, let me get started. Or maybe it's this one. There we go. So it says the state of Florida hereby notices that the defendant and the court that based upon the information available at this time as to the facts of this offense and the defendant's prior record, sufficient aggravating circumstances do exist. By prior record, they mean the charges. I mean, just recently again of the child pornography that he had on his phone. Do exist to justify the imposition of the death penalty as to this defendant in this case. And this is regarding Stephan Stearns. Therefore, the state will be requesting the imposition of the death penalty should the defendant be convicted in this case. Pursuant to Florida Statute 782-041B, the state intends to prove and has reason to believe it can prove beyond a reasonable doubt the following aggravating circumstances. The defendant was previously convicted of another capital felony, which is why they probably had him, go through this first case first. Although it hasn't been convicted yet, so or of a felony involving the use, threat of violence to the person. So I don't know. Maybe there's something he's been charged with we don't know about, because he hasn't been convicted of anything yet that I've seen. The capital felony was committed while the defendant was engaged in the commission of or an attempt to commit aggravated child abuse. Okay, so that is the one, but he hasn't been. He'll be found guilty. Let's just, maybe they're jumping the gun a little bit here. I mean, shouldn't you wait till he actually was convicted? But they seek to, and I guess what they're saying is if. In case these things happen. The capital felony was especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel. The victim of the capital felony was previously vulnerable due to advanced age, or disability, or because the defendant stood in a position of, let's see, the victim of the capital felony was particularly vulnerable due to, I'm not sure why it says advanced age or disability, or because the defendant stood in a position of familial or custodial authority over the victim. Okay, that's the part right there. Well, there you go. So he'll definitely be found guilty of the child pornography on his phone, and then they'll use that as the previously being convicted of, and then when they go for the murder charges against him regarding Madeline Soto, then they'll have everything they need. It's just kind of odd wording, don't you think, to say intends to prove and has reason to believe it can prove beyond reasonable doubt that the following aggravating circumstances. The defendant was previously convicted of another capital felony, but he hasn't been convicted yet, right? Unless I don't know, did he plead guilty or something? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't see that one. Obviously, he'll be found guilty of it. I'm just wondering why they're putting this document out now before he's been convicted. Maybe I'm not understanding it. But hey guys, we're on another night tonight, so if you want to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, try to reach those goals on a daily basis, I would appreciate it. Hey, thanks, Donna D. Again, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So that's it. They're going to seek the death penalty on Stephan Stearns. Not shocking at all. If anybody deserves that, that'd be a guy like him. And as a matter of fact, in Florida, I think they have the death penalty now for even the child, like what he did prior. I mean, just the child exploitation portion. I think, didn't DeSantis just sign something like that? All right. Let's see, what was that? What was it that he signed? DeSantis, the legislation went into effect October 1st and allows the state of Florida to seek the death sentence when an adult is convicted of sexual battery of a child under the age of 12. Well, there you go. So, I mean, not only they have like a couple different options they can go for there. Thanks, FarQ again. And FarQ! Ah, jeez. All right, now we're going to get right into the Delphi response. You remember that document a few weeks back when the defense put out, like, hey, you guys lost all this information, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and, you know, the Brad Holder interviews, and, you know, they just kept complaining and whining and bitching and moaning about third-party stuff that had nothing to do with the actual Richard Allen's arrest. Hello? Anybody remember that? Hello, 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 hello. Only got 169 people watching. Well, people don't remember that crap, you know, that's the thing. So it's not duh, you know, just answer the, you know, if I say it, you're like, hey, do you guys watch that? Be nice to have some interaction, you know, not have zero yeses. Hit the like button on, oh yeah, I guess that's me berating you guys. I'm berating you because I'm wanting some interaction when I'm communicating. Jesus. Yeah, I'm always about, 10 seconds behind. You guys are 10 seconds behind me, generally. Yeah, there's Alley Cake. All right, here we go. Now comes the state of Indiana by prosecuting attorney Nicholas C. McClelland, and respectfully objects to the defendant's second motion to dismiss based upon newly discovered, destroyed, and or missing exculpatory or potentially useful evidence, and would ask the court to deny the same. There is no basis in the law or fact to support the defense motion, and it should be denied. Further, there is no exculpatory evidence and or potentially useful evidence. See, this is just like in the Idaho 4 case, they're just like, hey, it's exculpatory. If we can't see it, it's exculpatory. Oh, yeah. Well, how do you know it's exculpatory? You haven't even seen the damn thing yet. I have to go way over here. Let's see. There is no basis in law or fact to support the defense motion, and it should be denied. Welcome, Irene Cipher. Further, there is no exculpatory evidence and or potentially useful evidence that the state has not turned over or is missing or that the state destroyed. Finally, Brad Holder is not a third-party suspect, and there's no evidence. Right, he's never a suspect. That's the thing. And there is no evidence tying Brad Holder to the murder of the victims in this case. In support of said objection, the state would ask the court to consider the following. Okay, here we go. That the law is clear. A dismissal of charge due to the state destroying or losing evidence is only permitted when the evidence is materially exculpatory. Right, exactly. It has nothing. That's exactly what I was saying. This is third party, not even third party. It's like this other part of the investigation that has nothing to do with Richard Allen. Or when evidence is denied potentially useful to the defense and the destruction of the evidence was done in bad faith. There you go. The defense have not alleged any example of missing or lost evidence that is materially exculpatory or potentially useful to the case against Richard Allen, nor has the defense cited any example of the state acting in bad faith in destroying any kind of potentially useful evidence. All they do is keep doing the, insinuating something. Like there's this cover-up going on where they're protecting the Odinists, everybody. That exculpatory evidence is defined as evidence that tends to establish a criminal defendant's innocence. Exactly. That's exactly what I always say. Even in the Idaho 4 case, that idiot Cy Ray, whatever the hell his name is, he gets up there and he's like, well, it's exculpatory. How do you know? You haven't even seen it yet. Well, maybe he's likely not an idiot, but he's definitely working for the defense team, and he'll find whatever it takes to try to have an explanation for something. Well, thanks again. Fuck you! Okay, evidence is exculpatory if it clears or tends to clear the defendant from alleged fault or guilt. For the destruction of materially exculpatory evidence to support a dismissal, the materially exculpatory evidence must be evidence that possesses an exculpatory value that was apparent before the evidence was destroyed, and must be of such a nature that the defendant would be unable to obtain comparable evidence by other reasonably available means. God, this is so crazy because it's exactly what we were talking about. That for evidence to be potentially useful evidence, it must be evidentiary material of which no more can be said than it could have been subjected to tests, the results of which might have exonerated the defendant. To subject to a dismissal, law enforcement must have destroyed that potentially useful evidence in bad faith. Bad faith is defined as failing to preserve evidence pursuant to a conscious doing of wrong because of a dishonest purpose or moral obliquity, it says. That's right. These people are reaching so far, their arms fell off. They're plastic man. The defense identify 3 items of evidence that they allege were destroyed or missing, which support a dismissal, including Brad Holder's phone extraction. All evidence of Brad Holder's second interview with law enforcement and a mimicked crime scene image found on Brad Holder's social media. They claim that these are exculpatory or potentially useful and were destroyed by law enforcement in bad faith. In regards to Brad Holder's phone extraction, listen to how it sounds just like what I said. There is no reliable evidence that the state ever extracted data from Holder's phone. The only support that the state ever possessed Brad Holder's phone is in the May 2nd, 2024, just like a month and a half ago, Brad Holder deposition. The defense, in their motion to report that Holder indicated that he was pretty sure, remember how I focused in on that word? Quote, pretty sure he turned his phone over to the police. In addition to saying that he was pretty sure, this is the part that the defense left out, Holder went on to say, I'm not going to say that positively, but this is classic the defense team. They left out this sentence right here. So even the part I focused in on was was pretty sure. That's not really glowing like, oh yeah, definitely the guy. He said pretty sure, but listen to the part that they left out. The defense in their motion report that Holder indicated that he was pretty sure he turned his phone over to the police. In addition to saying that he was pretty sure, Holder went on to say, I'm not going to say that positively, but I'm pretty sure they took my phone. They took my son's and my phone. They took my son's and my phone. Says the state believes that Holder is referring to February 17, 2017. That's only 4 days after the murders, where he and his son were both interviewed at the Delphi Police Department. On at least 2 occasions in the deposition, Holder states that the police took both his phone. On at least 2 occasions in the deposition, Holder states that the police took both his phone and his son's phone while father and son were in the lobby of the police station on the day they were questioned by police. When asked how he knew the police took Logan's phone, Holder said, I'm pretty sure they did it. They did it right there in the lobby. I'm pretty sure they took both of our phones. Don't quote me on that because, Don't quote me on that because that was a long time ago. However, as documented in records previously provided in discovery, Indiana State Police Sergeant Brian Bunner collected Logan Holder's phone in Logansport High School. Oh, jeez. So it wasn't in the lobby at the police station. Okay. Is anybody here? Because I see Zozo's joke and there's only 4 comments after that in like 10 minutes. This is like, I feel like I'm in a class and everybody's like, doing something else, twiddling their thumbs or something, and just. Okay, when asked how he knew the police took Logan Holder's phone, I'm pretty sure they did it right there in the lobby, but we find out down here that it was actually at Logansport High School on February 14th. So that was the day that, wow, that's crazy. They actually collected Logan's phone on the day the girls were found, and that's at 30 minutes after their bodies were found. I mean, that's ridiculous. Look at that. That's crazy. It's so quick. Logan's mother signed the consent to search form as the parent of Logan. Brad Holder was not present. Sergeant Bunner traveled to Logansport High School and initiated contact with Logan and his mother prior to the victim's body being recovered in hopes data on the phone may assist the police in locating the victims. Brad Holder's account of the... Okay, so they were over there. They probably didn't get word that she had been found, or the girls had been found yet. Sergeant Bunner traveled to Logansport High School and initiated contact with Logan and his mother prior to the victims' bodies being recovered in hopes data... Now they're gonna say, well, what do you mean? This is 30 minutes after their bodies were found. I think what it means is before this person knew that. Brad Holder's account of the police taking his phone is unreliable since Logan Holder's phone was seized 3 days earlier and not, as Holder insisted, contemporaneous with the taking of Brad Holder's phone. Brad Holder never says the police maintained possession of his phone or extracted data from it. The state is aware of no evidence that the police extracted data from Brad Holder's phone or even had possession of it. And see, that was just the defense just fishing for something. Therefore, there is no evidence that the police destroyed or lost Brad Holder's phone extraction data, much less did so in bad faith, even. Because, I mean, they didn't do it. Further, even if there had been an extraction of Brad Holder's phone that was destroyed or lost by law enforcement, there's no evidence to support the argument that data on Brad Holder's phone constituted potentially useful evidence for the defendant, much less material exculpatory evidence. Despite the defense claims, there is no evidence, either physical evidence or witness statements, that connect Brad Holder to the murders or to the crime scene. Man, don't you guys feel like idiots, all you people out there that kept saying that Brad Holder and all that? There exists no nexus connecting Brad Holder to the crimes. The defense is relying on pure speculation. Hey, thanks, FARQ. Is anybody else going to help out and join in with FARQ tonight? She seems to... And I think it was just Donna D and Irene. but thanks, FARQ. I'm not saying F you guys. I know it sounds like that. What was the other name that you said you might have made your account? Let's There's no evidence to support the argument that Brad Holder's phone constituted potentially useful evidence for the defense. The defense is relying on pure... I'm moving down. On pure... There exists no nexus connecting Brad Holder to the crimes. The defense is relying on pure speculation that data on Brad Holder's phone was potentially useful to exculpate the defendant. Oh, there's Donna D again. All right, well, thank you. In regards to a second interview of Brad Holder done by law enforcement, in his deposition, Brad Holder stated that someone he believed maybe a year or two after his first interview, sometime, let's see, what is he talking about? In regards to a second interview of Brad Holder done by law enforcement, in his deposition, Brad Holder stated that sometime he believed maybe a year or two after his first interview, he was interviewed at the Logansport Police Department by two Indiana State police officers, a man and a woman. Thank you, Allie Cake and David Arnold. The state was unaware of any such interview. In the weeks following the deposition, the state has made efforts to determine if an interview of Brad Holder occurred at the Logansport Police Department. Recently, specifically May 28, 2024, Detective Roland Purdy reported to Investigator Steve Mullen that he and Detective Lori Lemler interviewed Brad Holder in the fall of 2017 at the Logansport Police Department. Detective Purdy stated that he had learned that Holder had previously been interviewed and the investigation had ruled him out as a suspect. He said he and Detective Lemler met with Holder to learn about what Holder knew about Odinism. Detective Purdy said the interview was not recorded, nor was a formal report written. There's no support for the argument that evidence related to Brad Holder's interview at the Logansport Police Department was destroyed or lost. Neither is there any evidence that Holder's interview at Logansport Police Department resulted in any potentially useful evidence, much less materially exculpatory evidence. 23 months for H-Doc. Thanks, Whiskey Boots, Far Q, and Flounder. Thank you. Now, this is actually kind of interesting, the way they're just shredding the crap out of it. Finally, the defense claimed that a key piece of evidence is missing, an image purportedly from Brad Holder's social media that mimics the crime scene. However, the defense not only acknowledged in their motion to dismiss that the image is in their possession, but that they showed it to multiple police officers in depositions which the officers identified as coming from Brad Holder's social media. Therefore, the defense is arguing that the charges should be dismissed based upon the destruction or loss of evidence the defense currently possesses. There is no case law supporting such an argument. It almost sounds ludicrous, right? Materially exculpatory evidence is that evidence which possesses an exculpatory value that was apparent before the evidence was destroyed and must be of such a nature that the defendant would be unable to obtain comparable evidence by other reasonably available means. And their reasonably available means was they went out and remember they drove, I can't remember where they had to go, but they went and got that image from somebody. That none of the evidence that the defense says is missing and or destroyed is exculpatory evidence for the case against Richard Allen. Right, exactly. This is exactly what I was saying. That has nothing to do with the case against Richard Allen. It has nothing to do with him. So how is some Odinist thing going to free Richard Allen? Because what you'd have to say is that when they originally saw this thing that was so exculpatory, that it was so obvious on its face, that, oh wow, this guy's done it, where it would clear Richard Allen. They didn't do anything back then to those pieces of information regarding other people. That's just garbage. Think about that. Oh, wait. We just found this information that's exculpatory to Richard Allen. That means the information that is exculpatory is actually damning towards that other person. And they were never arrested or anything. So then you have to go through the whole conspiracy theory and then think that they didn't do that because law enforcement is involved with Odinism. Well, thanks again, Donna D. I could put that up on the screen. I think that one might even be short on there. That's not the right number. I guess we're about a quarter. Yeah. Flounder 23, you represent one of the best bottom feeders in the ocean. Who's Flounder 23? I don't see that person. Oh, there you are. Pretty good fish to eat. Thanks, FarQ. All right, so then number 9 is that none of the evidence that the defense says is missing and or destroyed is exculpatory evidence for the case against Richard Allen. Brad Holder is not a third-party suspect. There is no evidence that ties him to the murder. Oh, man. How many times have we been telling these wacko Odinists this stuff? I know. That's berating the Odinist lovers. I'm sorry. There is no evidence that ties him to the murder of the victims in this case. The evidence ties Richard Allen to the murder of the victims in this case. Exactly. That's exactly right. Richard Allen answered every damn question that they had, everybody. He answered who the bullet was at the crime scene. He answered whose car was parked at the abandoned CPS building. He answered the question on who the 3 girls saw when they were leaving. He answered the question who Betsy Blair saw. It goes on and on and on, everybody. Richard Allen did, not a freaking Odinist wearing horns. Thanks, Allie Cake. Number 10, that the state did not destroy or lose evidence purposely in bad faith. The motion to dismiss is replete with unfounded allegations and distorted and misinterpreted facts. It's exactly how we read it, too. The defense make allegations that are not true and are not supported by any evidence whatsoever. The state's response to those false allegations are as follows. That the fact that Brad Holder gave different answers to how many times he met Abby Williams does not support make items A through H exculpatory. There is no evidence to support that the rune on Brad Holder's hand mimics the sticks found on Abby. Further, there is no evidence to support the facts outlined in the first Frank's motion. That no portion of the October 26, 2022 interview of the defendant is missing. The defense has been provided with the entire recording. Isn't that just disgusting, you guys? That Lieutenant Jerry Heuermann did not lie in his August 10, 2023 deposition when he answered the question, was Brad Holder a suspect? With, not really, no. Lieutenant Heuermann went on to state on the following page, of course, this is what the defense likes to do, is leave out other pieces of information so that their little buddies out there that are sending $40,000 to a killer will still like them. He said, well, not really, no, Lieutenant Heuermann went on to state, and didn't I say that? Did I bet he said something else after that? Not really, no. Lieutenant Heuermann went on to state on the following page that Brad Holder wasn't really a suspect because the police had encountered him through Holder's son, who was a friend of the victims and was interviewed, and the investigation revealed he was at work at the time of the murders. Can I get a boom? Well, it doesn't mean his surrogate wasn't there. Maybe it was one of his... Oh, here we go with it now. That the state has turned over the defense the Todd Click letter and related reports and interviews after the state became aware that said items had not been previously provided. The state did not intentionally delay in providing the information to the defense, nor did the state intentionally conceal any evidence in the case. They probably just didn't realize that they'd be into the Odinism stuff and wasn't really a priority. But once they started talking about it, they go, oh crap, they probably want this stuff. The state did not attempt to conceal the identity of the Purdue professor, nor does his testimony... the state did not attempt to conceal the identity of the Purdue professor, nor does his testimony contradict the testimony of Lieutenant Heuermann. The professor, Dr. Turco, has stated under oath that it is the defense who has mischaracterized his testimony rather than Lieutenant Heuermann. That's hilarious. That number, and then G is that the state did not intentionally delay providing the extraction data from Liberty German's phone, nor did the state conceal exculpatory evidence from said phone. The state did not conceal a report involving documented communications between Carroll County Prosecutor's Office, Steve Mullen, and Indiana State Police Trooper Blocher, nor is the information in the communication in any way exculpatory or even potentially useful. They did not conceal documented communication between Carroll County Prosecutor. I don't even know what part that is right there. Hey, welcome Missy 6 again. All right, I think we're, what are we at here? 75? We're about, about 30% of the goal so far. Okay, and then I is that the defense conclusion that 6.5 years after a complex criminal investigation began, officers had different recollections of what other officers believed during the investigation is somehow proof of a conspiracy to conceal officers' actual beliefs is very strange. Look at the wording in there. It is strange. Yeah. So it says the defense conclusion that 6.5 years after a complex criminal investigation began, officers had different recollections of what other officers believed during the investigation is somehow proof of a conspiracy to conceal officers' actual beliefs is very strange. The state does not know how that would ever be exculpatory or even potentially useful in the prosecution of Richard Allen for murder. The Department of Natural Resources officer Dan Doolin testified that he prepared a written report of his interview of the defendant but could not locate any evidence that he had recorded his interview of the defendant and therefore believes he did not record it. However, he testified that he prepared his written report very soon after his interview and would have no reason to destroy the recording. Okay, that the image that the defense believe is mimicked crime scene image is not missing. The defense is in possession of the image. L. That Brad Holder is a key third-party suspect is false. Again, there is no evidence tying Brad Holder to the crime. The defense cannot meet its burden to even allege that he is a third-party suspect. Wherefore, the state objects to the defendant's motion to dismiss for destruction of exculpatory evidence and would ask the court to deny the same. Respectfully submitted, Nicholas McClellan. Oh man, that was just absolutely like destroyed that. Oh, you know what I think? I think those gifted memberships you give before the show don't show up in the my control panel because it was before the show. I don't know. Not sure how that works. But there you go. What do you guys think of that? And again, if you're out there and you want to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, I would appreciate it. Kind of keep on trucking. Today I was trying to work on this whole video and the Rex Heuermann. I actually recorded the whole thing and everything, but it's just so complicated what I'm trying to think of and convey. So I'm trying to figure out a different way to do it. Yeah. Defense in this case is an absolute embarrassment. I think this is why the judge wanted to remove these defense attorneys, because of this just total shenanigans. Doesn't even make any sense. It's, they're incompetent almost. I mean, sure, they've done a great job of convincing a lot of sort of easily, gullible people out there to believe in this crazy Odinism and crap like that. People with sort of weak minds that just will believe anything that comes across their face. I tend to believe, like, when a prosecutor, yes, there are wrongfully convicted people out there, but when prosecutors put together a probable cause document, it's based on, evidence that's been found, real stuff, not some goblin with horns in the woods. Yeah, she's gonna rule here pretty soon. After she reads this, she'll probably go, yeah, geez, okay, huh. Yep, that's adequate. Brad Holder was never a suspect in the case, everybody. He was at work. Well, how do we know his boss didn't just say he was at work? Maybe he's an Odinist too. Yeah. Okay, well, how long have we been on here? 42 minutes. Well, we're gonna move on now to the. I don't really have much more to say, except that sounds exactly how we were looking at it, almost identically. The case is about Richard Allen, not the Odinists. And if there was information that was so exculpatory in anything that those people said, that would have led to their conviction. Not Richard Allen. But then they say, no, but it's a cover-up, and therefore it's all about, protecting other Odinists. Thank you, Tammy Lee. You know what that was? Star Trek. Okay. I'm trying to get this other document. Thanks, Tammy Lee, Donna D, and Michelle H. Okay, we just got to 33% just now. All right, well, here's the original document. So remember, we were going over the, the Rex Heuermann, the newer document and information. I don't know. I was thinking of going over this, but I kind of want to try to work through this thing that I'm trying to put together, for a video. I did one, it was like 35 minutes long. It just kept going, and it was like, yeah, man, I don't know about that. So what I'm trying to do is show the absolutely in line the order of Rex Heuermann and how he learned as he was going, and how each of the early homicides, I think, ended up creating his final sort of his MO. He changed that up quite a bit from the beginning. For example, like Costilla was totally different. And I think that one informed him about different things. You guys want me to try to work through this thing a little bit? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to do this. Maybe if I put her up on the screen first. Just go like that. So this is Sandra Costilla, right? Then a body was discovered in the woods. This is November 22nd, 1993. The Suffolk County Police Homicide Squad is investigating the death of an unidentified woman whose partially clothed body was discovered in the woods in North Sea Saturday. Thanks again, Fark you. 2 hunters found the body about 12:40 p.m. They called Southampton police, who notified the homicide squad. Police said the body had been in the woods a few days and they suspect foul play. Police estimated that the woman was in her early 20s. The body was taken to the office of the Suffolk County Medical Examiner. Then the body is ID'd. The body of a partially clothed woman found in Southampton Woods Saturday has been identified as that of Sandra Costilla, 28, but police yesterday said they need help in finding her family and acquaintances. Police said Costilla's last known address was Gates Avenue in Ridgewood, Queens, but that information was about a year old, and the people now living at the address said they did not know Costilla. Till somebody who cares about her comes forward, that's what we're stuck with. Detective Lieutenant John Gersich, commander of the Suffolk Homicide Squad, said, "We don't have any recent address on her, nor do we have any information on where her family may be. We're obviously looking for somebody who knows of her." Now, I probably don't need to put that information. I could probably go right here. Finding her family and acquaintances to learn more about her. And then down here it says, Costilla had been arrested last year for jumping a subway turnstile. Gersich said detectives matched her fingerprints with those found in police records. She also used Catello as a last name, police said. And this is what it says in the bail application, the document that we just have been going over, the recent one that announced Costilla and Costilla and Jessica, or is it Jessica? Yeah, Jessica Taylor, right. So it says, the 1993 discovery of human remains of Sandra Costilla. This is in that document. On or about November 20th, 1993, 2 individuals, while hunting in a wooded area of Southampton in the vicinity of 50 Old Fish Cove Road, North Sea, Suffolk County, New York, discovered the remains of Sandra Costilla, date of birth 8/25/1965. The victim was 28 years old at the time, was lying on her back with her arms outstretched over her head with her uncovered legs spread apart. The victim's shirt had been pulled up over her torso and head, exposing the victim's breast. The victim had numerous sharp force injuries to her inner, and I think it means to, among other things, her face, torso, breasts, left thigh, and vaginal area. So here we have a knife being used, and there's no dismemberment or of any kind. Miss Costilla was a native of Trinidad and Tobago, but had been living in New York prior to her disappearance and murder. All right, so what did he learn from this homicide? He learned that one of his victims could be identified because of fingerprints. All right, then and this is Peaches now. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next person named Peaches. And, so again, in the document, it does mention, like, try to remove things that identify the person. But anyways, this is Peaches. This is the tattoo. Peaches was a black individual, African American. And it says right here, a Lynbrook family outing at Hempstead Lake State Park turned grisly yesterday when the father discovered human remains in a garbage can alongside a ravine. Nassau police said they had no clue yesterday evening as to the identity of the apparently adult victim or whether the remains were those of a man or a woman. The remains were sent to the medical examiner for an autopsy. Let's see. Shell Bosch, 45, said he, homicide squad. There is no sign of a struggle up there, too, it says. Shell Bosch, 45, said he discovered the remains around 1 p.m. during a walk with his 10-year-old daughter, Casey, a family friend, and the friend's children. Bosch said he left to get one of the State Department Environmental Conservation officers, Dan Doolin, at a fishing event. Doesn't say Dan Doolin, but every time I The officer pried the bag open somewhat, only to discover what appeared to the left side of a lower, it doesn't say B, it should say appeared to be the left side of a lower torso that was bloated and appeared to have been outside for some time. I hope it's the last time I find something like this, he said. This was definitely a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it said, again, this is another one regarding Jessica Taylor. The Nassau County Medical Examiner has determined that the human remains found at Hempstead Lake State Park on Saturday are that of an 18 to 30-year-old woman. No, this is Peaches, excuse me. This is still Peaches. According to Detective Lieutenant Frank Giedice, commanding officer of the Nassau Police Homicide Squad, the medical examiner believes the remains are of a black woman of medium build with a tattoo, possibly of a peach, over her left breast, and abdominal scar possibly left from a cesarean section. All right, so in this case here, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, where they start putting out, hey, Mary Tanner. The woman had been dismembered and decapitated. So he's learned in this one already. So this is in 1997. Costilla was 93. Now there might be other murders in between, but after Costilla, I think he learned that he needs to get rid of the hands and the head so that they're not identified. He wants the torsos to be found, but he doesn't want the heads and hands to be found. So he always places those items in a place where it's kind of, people will eventually stumble upon them. So it says, when a man discovered the unclothed remains in a bag inside a receptacle while walking with his daughter and friends on the west side of the Lake Drive, about 200 yards north of the Peninsula Boulevard. The remains had been there for approximately 2 or 3 days. Detectives are asking for assistance. Right, and then we get to these where it said, Nassau County detectives are hoping that a chest tattoo of a peach will help them identify the headless naked torso of a woman found in the state park. Police think the tattoo artist or someone close to the mutilation victim will recognize the design and step forward to identify the woman whose partial remains were found in Hempstead Lake State Park by a hiker on Saturday. The woman's head, arms, and legs below her knees had been hacked off and have not been recovered. We've shown photos of the tattoo to tattoo artists in Nassau County, and they've told us whoever made it should be able to recognize their own work. The victim was a black woman with a medium build, between 18 and 30. The peach tattoo is above the woman's left breast. The body was also, had a cesarean section scar. All right. So there you go. That right there is what made him start thinking about eliminating the tattoos on the torsos or any part of the body that he thought would be seen. And it could be that, how he changed it up a little bit, where he'd cut the legs off below the knee, or, sometimes a little different. Maybe there was tattoos on those items, like those parts of the body. So here is Valerie Mack. Now, I think the Valerie Mack case is the one that's related to the HK document that was found. And that was Valerie Mack right there. And you guys, were on one of those massive lulls because I'm reading again, but that's all I got for you. A trio of hunters searching for game in Manorville thicket yesterday instead discovered several bags that Suffolk County Police believe contained the body parts of a woman who had been the victim of a homicide. The hunters' dogs found the unidentified woman's partially decomposed body at about 10:30 a.m. as they searched for pheasant in the wooded area, said Homicide Squad Commander Detective Lieutenant John Girish. Well, thanks, Donna D. again. Appreciate it. Thanks, Michelle H. Right now, we have some human remains that appear to be that of a white female. It's presumed that cutting off the hands and head is done in an effort to thwart identification of the victim. He added that he was withholding the names of the hunters who made the find. Details were sketchy yesterday for Girish. All right, so now we're moving to the next one. This is November of 2000, November 29th, this article. The discovery of human remains in plastic bags in a wooded area in Manorville last week has yielded few clues, Suffolk police said yesterday. Cops said the remains are believed to be that of a white woman, 35 to 40, and 5'1" to 5'5" and 110 pounds, 110 to 120. 3 hunters discovered the remains November 19th in a wooded area west of Halsey Manor Road and near a utility right-of-way. Yeah, and the thing is she was found, all of them are found relatively quickly, like within a month or two, these original torsos. The nude body had been dismembered and stuffed into plastic garbage bags. The victim's hands and head were missing. Detective Sergeant Arthur All said the remains have been there for 2 to 6 weeks. And then here we go. Here's I'm not sure, what's this one about? Is it related to this one? A heart-shaped peach? Maybe this is supposed to be on the previous one, so I got to get that in the right order. Let's see. She has a name, a detective. Let me fix this. I got to get these all in order here. So that one with the peach is... That's not a Valerie Mack one. I don't think. A heart-shaped peach. This is peaches. Yeah, so that should be 33. Or 23. Yeah, so I'm trying to get all these in the right order. I think this is supposed to be 23. All right, there we go. Sort by name. Sort by name. All right, so now we're on to Jessica Taylor. And by the way, those 2 bodies we just discussed were right over here. Or this is where Valerie Mack was found, right here. Right around in that area. And then Jessica Taylor was found right here. And this road right here is Mill Road, and that's exactly where in the document he mentions that road as a dumping site. So there she is right there. And this is July 27th, 2003. Thank you, Michelle H. and Allie Cake. Anyways, a decapitated body found in Manorville. While walking her dogs, and by the way, Peaches is the, another body part of Peaches was found, just like Valerie Mack that we just discussed. Both of them had body parts found on Gilgo Beach, and Peaches is the biological mother of the juvenile that was also found on Gilgo Beach. While walking her dog yesterday through a wooded stretch of Halsey Manor Road in Manorville, a woman discovered the decapitated body of an unidentified woman. The unclothed body was found lying on a pile of branches near the Long Island Expressway. Suffolk police said her hands had been cut off and her body decomposed to the point where even pinpointing her race is difficult. And you know what I was thinking later is that early on, people would do, he would kill people, it didn't matter what time of year. Like Costilla is, kind of like later in the year. Let's see, what is it? Yeah, it's November, right? That's not his MO. His is like July, August. And you know why I think he does that? Because I think decomposition is much faster in the summertime. And when he would, like maybe he figured out that after killing people in the colder months, their bodies didn't decompose as fast as he wanted. And so I think he started using summer months and then also using burlap bags so that they would decompose even quicker and also have a little bit almost camouflage. Yeah, we went over that whole thing that you just sent a while ago on the they were looking for specific names on peaches. Yeah. I actually was reading that today, but that's not what I'm trying to the thing that I'm showing in this. I'm trying to show you guys that now in this one right here, this is Jessica Taylor right now. This is Jessica Taylor, and in the Jessica Taylor case, as we find out in a minute, like here's the thing, it says they released details. There was a little bit of a tattoo, and this is her toenail right there, some design that was on there. Suffolk police are asking the public's help in identifying the woman whose decapitated and partially decomposed body was found in Manorville Saturday. Some additional details to aid in the identification. The woman is believed to have been white, but could have been Hispanic and was probably in her 20s. She was between 5 feet 5 and weighed 110 to 125 pounds. The body was found at 10:45 a.m. by a woman walking her dog in a wooded area of Halsey Manor Road. And here it is right. Long Island cops appealed for the public's help yesterday in identifying the hacked up body of a woman who may have been murdered by a serial killer. Detectives released photos of a tattoo in the shape of an angel wing found on the corpse lower back and a silver and purple design painted on the woman's toenail. They hope someone will recognize the markings and put a name to the body, which could help them determine whether the grisly slaying is linked to another unsolved killing. A woman walking her dog found the body Saturday morning in a wooded area off the Long Island Expressway in Manorville. The cause of death was unknown, but the medical examiner believes the woman was dead 2 or 3 days before discovery. And this is Jessica Taylor. The cause of death was unknown, but the medical examiner believes the woman was dead 2 or 3 days before she was discovered. The body was found near a small paved road. Suffolk County Homicide Detective Lieutenant Jack Fitzpatrick said, "It looks like someone drove down there." Oh, so that must be Mill Road on that one for Jessica Taylor. Because I think, hold on. Yeah, that's Mill Road right there. So I bet you it's closer to this, like over here-ish. Unless they were talking about that road, but I think... Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to keep it the way I had it. It's close enough. Now, the first victim who was found by hunters in the woods was a white woman with brown hair, probably in her 30s. Her body had been chopped into pieces, wrapped in several plastic bags. The woman found last week is believed to be white or Hispanic, possibly in her 20s, between 110 and 125 pounds, police said. Fitzpatrick said detectives also looked into a possible link with a decapitated body found in Valley Stream, Long Island in 1997, and that's probably Vergata, right? I mean, when was that? Hold on. I thought Vergata was around that time. I don't have the date on it. Let me look at that really fast. No, it's Carmen Vargas. Karen Vergata. That was 96, so I don't know which one that is. That's an interesting one. May have to look that up. Found in Valley Stream, Long Island, 1997. Let's see. Might as well go try to look for it. let's see, Valley Stream, what does that say? Valley Stream, Long Island. Is that it? The headless, handless body in a lake in West New Jersey was not to believe that Manhattan woman. Man, that's right around that time, though, isn't it? Why? That's crazy. It's just to believe that the body is not one we are looking for. Camden Sylvia, 36, and her boyfriend Michael Sullivan, 54, vanished November 7th after a dispute. So whose body is this one then? What was that again? It was Valley Stream. I don't see it. No, forget it. Anyways, and then this one says, in 2003 and 2011, discovery of human remains of Jessica Taylor. So on or about July 26, 2003, an individual whose identity is known, this is from that document, to law enforcement, was walking her dog just west of Halsey Manor Road, Manorville, Suffolk County, New York. At that time, witness number 1 observed what appeared to be human remains, which prompted him or her to call 911. Upon arrival, members of the SCPD observed the remains of a female, later identified as Jessica Taylor. Miss Taylor was found lying on her back with her legs bent underneath her. Notably, the victim was decapitated, and both of Miss Taylor's arms had been severed from her body below her elbows. Moreover, a tattoo on the victim's torso had been severely obliterated. And so then it said, by a sharp object. Investigators believe the mutilation of the victim, tattoo, decapitation of her head, and dismemberment of Miss Taylor's arms were acts perpetrated by Reck Heuermann, let's see, inhibit the identification, and he did it to inhibit the identification. And so I think he did that after Peaches. So after Peaches was one of his victims, he noticed that there was a lot of effort trying to identify her based on the Peaches, and actually he did speak to they actually spoke to a tattoo artist who described how it was a black lady, like 18 to something years old, 18 to 20. She came in there, and he remembers exactly making the tattoo, and even knew details about her life and so forth, but didn't know her name or anything like that. And so what I'm trying to get at here, like I tried to do yesterday, is that Costilla was identified with her fingerprints. Then Heuermann started cutting off hands and heads and putting them in different places, but still wanted the torsos to be found. Then we have Peaches. Peaches has a tattoo, and it was all over the news. This is 96, I believe, right? 97 for Peaches. Now maybe that's who they were talking about in that article, by the way. Yeah, so Peaches has a tattoo, and everybody's looking at the tattoo, trying to figure out who it is. So now he's probably removing, like, we don't know if Valerie Mack had tattoos on her. However, they also haven't put her in the document yet as being one of his victims, although we know she is. Once they do that, they'll probably be able to say, and her tattoos were removed as well, and perhaps she had tattoos on her hands and arms, and those were removed or something, So he wanted to get rid of tattoos after Peaches, I believe. And Jessica Taylor has the actual manifestation of that. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, and then a while back, a couple of years ago, they put out something on Peaches regarding. I'll just open it up. I was looking at it earlier today, but it's not really relevant. But if you want to see, the FBI is seeking relatives and friends of Elijah Howe. This is what Zozo said. Mr. Howard lived in Pritchard, Alabama. So they've done genetic genealogy on her. And again, it's very difficult to do genetic genealogy on African American because they aren't represented in the system and on the genealogical sites, nor GEDmatch very frequently. But it sounds like they were able to determine through genetics regarding the parents, but apparently they're not alive anymore. And I don't know if they're the parents either, but it says Mr. Howard lived in Pritchard, Alabama with his wife Carrie and passed away in Mobile, Alabama in 1963 with Miss Lily Mae Wiggin Packer. His relatives may be able to assist in the case of a woman and child found in another state. Does this tattoo look familiar? Yeah, so, it sounds like they were onto something, but hey, guys, we're frozen again in here. So, I know I ask this every single night, but we just got to, if you can and you can afford to help support the channel, we got to just keep on going here. I'm struggling to make, I try to make a video today to get it out there to help augment, but it just didn't really work. I couldn't get it together. And so now we're stuck with just this show, and that's it. And you guys are the sole source of the income on my nightly shows, so if you think I do a good job and you're entertained and you're getting something out of it, I would appreciate the tip or whatever you want to call it. And then this one says, Gilgo Homicide Task Force recently discovered a Microsoft Word document entitled HK 2002 to 2004. The document was discovered in unallocated space, meaning it was deleted and hasn't been written over yet. A forensic analysis of the HK 2002 to 2004 document reveals that it was not only a locally created, i.e. not downloaded from the internet, but also recovered from a hard drive that indicates it was utilized by Heuermann himself. While the original document appears to have been created in 2000 based on its original title, HK 2000 to 2003, so that's interesting, right? This document was originally created in 2000. So that brings into play Valerie Mack. So like when he first created this document in 2003, it's interesting because there might be changes that we can observe, like the comments about next time do this, right? Because Valerie Mack was the first time. This iteration of the Word document titled HK 2002 to 04 appears to have been created and modified between 2001 and 2002. So that's after Valerie Mack. So he's killed Valerie Mack, and then he starts editing this document. And let's see, based on the foregoing and the facts, the task force members believe 2000 and 2002 to be references to calendar years. I think that's pretty obvious, Yeah, and then I just kind of go through these. You have the spur of the moment cover Stockholm. The investigation to date has established the source of these notes, Mindhunter paperback book, authored by John Douglas, specifically the first edition published in 1996 concerning the criminal profiling of serial killers. There's the book right there. And then we go through. Thanks, Paulette Leonard. DNA, problems, DNA, tire marks, bloodstains, fingerprints, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Going through these. I mean, these are just what I cut them up so you can just see the individual. I think this right here means target unknown black. I mean, I think that's what that means, right? Like target unknown black, that's target 1, small is good, target unknown black person. And that's kind of how Peaches was. I mean, she hasn't even been identified still. So I'm kind of wondering if that's what that was about. But anyways, that's all I got there. I mean, I'm going to keep working. I'm putting it all together to try to just do a video on it. I think it's a good way to do it. Like I could just explain it. The Mindhunters book, they said get rid of book, etc. And I think that was in the document. I think the book that he's referring to in the document is Mindhunters, because it's right at the same time that he's quoting it in the 2000 document. Well, Paulette Leonard, I guess you were the only one that heard what I said. I'm unreal. Yeah, it's just... So, just the... I guess we could try to go over this, what we were talking about last night, but I don't know. Are you guys even interested at all, or? Yeah, it would be, but... Oh. There we go. Yes. Well, thanks, Brennus Brad. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I keep saying to everybody, it's never this difficult on here. It just seems like it's a struggle now. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Cindy. Nobody knows what that even means. Thanks, Kami. All right, so this is, this is that first document, the arrest warrant, a long time ago. Remember, we were going to go over this. So let's see. The problem is it's going to be reading, and I know it's just devastating to the channel when I read. So it's like, I don't know, do I want to read or should I just... Thanks, Lisa Valenzuela. As described below, based on the serious, heinous nature of these serial murders, the planning and forethought that went into these crimes, the strength of the people's case, the length of incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extended period of time that the defendant was able to avoid apprehension, his recent searches for sadistic materials, child pornography, images of victims and their relatives. So he had images of the victims. Was it just like his own images, or images that he just took off the internet or something? Thank you, Osiris Stewart. Yeah, I'm just going to put this on the screen so you see. We're not even at halfway, and Let's see, as described below based on, let me go with this next part here. On December 11, 2010, police officer John Malia was conducting a training exercise with his K-9 partner, Blue, along Ocean Parkway in Gilgo Beach, Suffolk County, New York. During the course of the training exercise, Blue located a set of human remains. The remains were later identified to be those of Melissa Bartholomew. 2 days later, on December 13, 2010, the SCPD continued to search in proximity to where the remains of Melissa Bartholomew were recovered. On that date, members of the SPD found 3 additional sets of human remains within 1/4 of a mile of the first discovery. These additional sets of remains were identified as those of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. And all of those are his victims currently. I think it took him a while to add in, I think it was maybe Waterman. Can't remember which one. The cause of death of all 4 women was determined to be homicidal violence. The investigation into these deaths were linked as addition to the other factors. The victims each appeared to have been placed in close proximity to one another, 22 to 33 feet from the edge of the parkway. All were petite females, approximately 22 to 27 years old, believed to be working as sex workers. All had missing clothing and personal possessions. All had been killed by homicide. All had contact shortly before their disappearances with a person using a burner cell phones without an associated verified identity, and the cell phones of 2 of the 4 victims, Brainerd Barnes and Bartholomew, were used by the killer after their deaths. In addition, each of the 4 victims were found similarly positioned, bound in a similar fashion by either belts or tape, with 3 of the victims found wrapped in a burlap type material. Yeah, no, it's I don't know why there's nobody here. I can't tell you why, why YouTube doesn't put me out there. I've got 130,000 subscribers, and there's only 268 people here. Because the problem is the true crime live stream community during this time of night, you get the same people covering the same Sebastian Rogers over and over again. They're covering this stuff over and over, stuff over and over and over again on a nightly basis, and people just aren't interested in anything that's just not just sort of easy to come in and boom, we're just going to start listening to more gossip. I mean, the crap that goes on. I mean, it's just I don't know how to explain it. And I get disillusioned on almost a daily basis, to be honest with you. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. No, it's huge, but it's not huge because the people that watch live streams at night don't want to watch this stuff. They want to watch, unless it's I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it to you. In January 2022, the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office assigned an experienced team of investigators, analysts, and prosecutors to work jointly with law enforcement partners from the Suffolk County. I'm just going to move it down. So here's Barnes. Maureen Brainerd Barnes was last seen on July 9th, 2007 in New York City. I mean, there's stuff up here that kind of links his burner phone. Let's do the taunting calls. As discussed more fully below, among the items uncovered were cell phone billing records for defendant Heuermann corresponding to cell site location for 1 burner cell phones used to arrange meetings with 3 of the 4 victims, the taunting calls made to relative of Miss Bartholomew, a call made by a detective to Miss Bartholomew's cell phone while looking into her disappearance. And well, thanks, Donna D. I feel bad. Like you and Far Q pretty much taking the whole brunt of the show. It feels like, I wish other people were. It was more democratic, I guess. In addition, Heuermann lived in Massapequa Park, where the victims were believed to have disappeared from, and he worked in Midtown Manhattan in the vicinity where the taunting calls were made to the sister of Bartholomew. As set forth more fully below, defendant Rex A. Heuermann is believed to be the person who used the burner cell phones to communicate with each of the 4 victims prior to their disappearance, and who used Miss Brene Barnes' cell phone as and Miss Bartholomew's cell phone after their deaths. I mean, this guy, he's like a classic serial killer. It's crazy, right? I mean, it's absolutely nuts. Like, completely, every single thing that he does is like a, Dexter classic serial killer. But anyways, thanks again, Donna D. Had significant connections to both. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's taunting police, he left almost all the torsos that he left, he wanted them to be found. It's sort of interesting later, though, his appetite and his need to kill continued, but he didn't really want the notoriety because the bodies that he placed on Ocean Parkway were, the later ones, were all fully, I think, intact inside the burlap bags. So he didn't want those to be found. Those aren't a place anybody ever pulled over and would go in there. And I think he used that spot because when he put the head and other body parts there in 1997, 2000, and 2003, because Peaches is there, Jessica Taylor is there, and so is Valerie Mack, right? None of those have ever been found. So he probably felt like, oh crap, that's a great place to put these bodies. So he started loading that up with his newer victims in there. Hey, look at that. Norma Jean, welcome. All right, so here's the Brainerd Barnes. Maureen Brainerd Barnes was last seen on July 9th, 2007. So this is 4 years after Jessica Taylor in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 6, 2007, Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone was contacted by a burner phone. Between July 6, 2007 and July 9, 2007, there were 16 interactions between this burner phone and Brainerd Barnes' cell phone. On July 9, 2007, the last cell site location for Brainerd Barnes' cell phone was at approximately 11:56 p.m. in Midtown Manhattan near the 59th Street Bridge. Thereafter, I'll just say Barnes' cell phone had no further activity until July 12, 2007. So she disappeared on July 9th, and then on July 12th, 3 days after her disappearance, 2 outbound calls were made from Barnes' cell phone, checking her voicemail from a cell site location near the Long Island Expressway in Islandia. So that was Heuermann using her phone to check her own voice messages. Melissa Bartholomew was last seen on July 10th, 2009 in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 3rd, 2009, Miss Bartholomew was contacted by a burner phone. Thereafter, the Bartholomew cell phone was contacted by this burner cell phone on July 6th and July 9th. Wow, that's crazy. So he was actually, oh, that's 2 years later, but the same, almost exactly the same. Look how weird that is. Is that real? didn't even notice that before, but look at July 6th and July 9th. There were 16 interactions. That's 2007. And then right here it's July 6th to July 9th, and July 10th, which was the last day she was seen alive. But he was contacting an exact same time frame just 2 years later. On July 10, 2009, cell site records indicate the burner cell phone traveled from Massapequa Park, that's where Heuermann lives, to downtown Manhattan. Later that evening, the Bartholomew cell phone traveled from midtown Manhattan to Massapequa to, he picked her up and then took her to his house, it sounds like, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa on July 11, 2009 at approximately 1:43 a.m. There you go. On July 11, 2009, Miss Bartholomew's cell phone was used to make an outbound call. So this is later in the day, right? So July 9th at 1:43, her phone pinged basically at Heuermann's house. And then on July 11, 2009, Miss Bartholomew's cell phone was used to make an outbound call, checking her voicemail from a cell site location in Freeport. On July 11th and July 12th, 2009, Bartholomew's phone made 2 more outbound calls, checking her voicemail from cell site locations in Babylon. On July 17th, July 23rd, August 5th, August 19th, and August 26th, the Bartholomew, man, he kept that phone going, man. Made taunting phone calls to Miss Bartholomew's family members, some of which resulted in a conversation between the caller, who was a male and a relative of Melissa Bartholomew, in which the male caller admitted killing and sexually assaulting Miss Bartholomew. As described below, the cell site locations of the Bartholomew phone during these taunting calls were all in Midtown Manhattan. So that means he had her phone. Heuermann had Bartholomew's phone downtown Manhattan and would make the taunting calls, and because of the sheer population of downtown Manhattan, you're hidden in plain sight. Unless you had a surveillance camera filming the exact spot, it's just, I don't know, man. The odds of that finding him were 1 in a billion. And then Megan Waterman was last seen alive at a Holiday Inn in Hapa, New York on June 6, 2010 at approximately 1:30 a.m. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On June 5, 2010, Miss Waterman's cell phone was contacted. What day? Look at this again. Look at the dates on there. They're just all the summertime. June 5th, 2010, Miss Waterman's cell phone was contacted by another burner cell phone which had been activated that day. Thereafter, the Waterman phone communicated with this burner cell phone on June 6, 2010 at approximately 1:31 a.m., which is around the time Megan Waterman was captured on video surveillance exiting the Holiday Inn in Hapa for the last time. I think I might have that video. Hold on a second. Oh, there it is.
Never before seen video released by Suffolk County Police could help solve the Gilgo Beach murders.
Our victim, Megan Waterman, was wearing a yellow sweater.
Captured by surveillance cameras document one of the last times Megan Waterman was seen. The 22-year-old who advertised herself as an escort on Craigslist went missing in early June of 2010, soon after leaving the Holiday Inn Express in Hauppauge.
Based on what we know right now, we believe she did leave the hotel that night to meet her killer.
But the killer or killer...
Yeah, so that's her. It's kind of interesting.
One of the last times Megan Waterman was seen.
Yeah, so there you go. Megan Waterman was captured on video surveillance in the Holiday Inn in Hapa for the last time. Following that communication, the burner cell phone had no further phone activity. However, cell site records show that Waterman's phone traveled to Massapequa Park. So after he picked her up, he took her there. Yeah, that's probably his wife's out of town, I'm sure. With the last cell site location being in Massapequa Park at 3:11 a.m. in the vicinity of the residence of defendant Heuermann. Man, isn't it weird that they weren't able to get a better fix on the pings? I mean, of all these different pings, you'd think that they, I mean, maybe it's too early for them to be that precise. Like 2010, you know. Amber Costilla was last seen alive on September 2nd, 2010, leaving her residence at 1112. Wow, that's weird. 1112 King Road is the address with the surveillance camera in the Idaho 4 case. But anyways, residence at 1112 American Avenue in West Babylon during the late evening hours. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On September 1st, 2010, the day prior to the disappearance of Amber Costello, Miss Costello's cell phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. On September 1st, 2010, this burner cell phone had communicated with Costello's phone at approximately 11:33 p.m. and 11:34 p.m., so late at night. During those communications, the burner cell phone connected to cell towers in West Amityville and Massapequa Park. Therefore, the burner cell phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello and had contact with the Costello phone at approximately 12:05 a.m. So it drove over there, and at 12:05 probably said, "Hey, you ready? You ready to go?" And then, according to witnesses, around the time of these communications between the burner cell phone and the Costello phone on September 1 through 2, 2010, a prostitution client showed up at Miss Costello's residence. This is Heuermann they're talking about, located in West Babylon, New York. After the client entered the home, a ruse was executed on the client, whereby a person pretended to be the outraged boyfriend of Amber Costello, and the client left from the residence. While Amber Costello retained the money the client had brought to pay for her services. Based upon the interviews, that client was described as a large white male, approximately 6'4" to 6'6" in height, and in his mid-40s, with dark bushy hair and big oval style 1970 type eyeglasses. A witness described him to police as appearing like an ogre. Furthermore, a witness noticed a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche parked in the driveway of the residence. According to the witness, following the ruse, this client said he was just her friend. Tell her I'll give her a call, and walked out the front door. So it must have freaked him out. And he left. Thereafter, at approximately 1:18 a.m. on September 2nd, after the ruse had been perpetrated, the burner cell phone sent a text message to Costello's phone which stated, "That was not nice to do. Credit for next time?" Which is kind of weird. Why would you want to still, you're still going to want to see somebody? What is that, alley cake? I don't know what that means. Oh, that's how much we're short? Yeah. That was not nice to do. Credit for next time? Phone records show that the burner phone was located in Massapequa Park within 2 minutes of this message being sent. So he drove home and sent that message. According to a witness, later the next day on September 2nd, Miss Costello was again contacted by the same client that was in the house the night before with the avalanche. Further, Amber told us that he wanted to see her again, but he didn't want to come back to the house because of her boyfriend, even though he knew that was just a ruse, saying that wasn't nice. Thereafter, on September 2nd, 2010 at 9:32 p.m., The same burner cell phone from the previous evening again communicated with the Costello phone. During this communication, the burner cell phone used a cell site location in Midtown Manhattan. Following this communication, and based upon the cell site records, the burner cell phone traveled to Massapequa Park and had contacts with Costello's phone at about 10:39 p.m. and 11:05 p.m. Cell site records for the burner phone indicate that approximately 11:17 p.m. the phone traveled to West Babylon, so going back to Costello's house, in the proximity to the residence of Amber Costello. Subsequently, Amber Costello left her own cell phone behind, walked out the front door. Now, we don't know why she left her phone behind here. I think he might have asked her to do that, I think. Walked out the front door of the residence and was seen alive for the last time. Shortly after Miss Costello left the house, a witness observed a dark-colored truck pass the house, specifically coming from the direction Amber had walked towards. Hey, thanks, Plato. Listening and lurking. A lurker. Significantly, travel records show that on July 8, 2009, defendant Heuermann's wife departed the United States for Iceland. And that's 2009, so that would have been for, I think, not Costello. It was this one. Melissa Bartholomew. Wait, where am I? Okay, significantly, travel records show that on July 8, 2009, defendant Heuermann's wife departed the United States for Iceland. On August 18, 2009, defendant Heuermann's wife returned to the United States. Consequently, defendant Heuermann's wife was out of the country during the time of Melissa Bartholomew's disappearance. Yep. Based upon cellular telephone billing records on June 4, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to defendant Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to Maryland on June 8, 2010. So that's what victim is that? That's going to be this one, Megan Waterman. For example, in July, I'm not sure where I went. I think it was up here. Cellular telephone subscribed. Yeah, I think it was right around here. Although cell site records at that time no longer existed, investigators obtained cellular billing records which showed general location information for Heuermann's cell phone. Where's the one that said June, though? We were all down to the June. Was it down here? We were just there. I just was looking at it. Oh, maybe it's up here. Okay. Based on cellular telephone billing records on June 4, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to by defendant Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to Maryland on June 8, 2010. The cellular telephone subscribed by defendant Heuermann's wife returned to New York from Maryland. Consequently, based upon cellular telephone records, the cellular telephone subscribed to by Heuermann's wife was out of New York State during the time of Megan Waterman's disappearance. Based upon cellular telephone billing records on August 28, 2010, that'll lead to the wife was out of town during Amber Costello's, and that says cellular billing records for Rex Heuermann. Hey, thanks, Ozzy Trisha. During the times of the disappearance and murders of the victim, defendant Heuermann owned an architectural business located in Midtown Manhattan, and this business was named subscriber of Heuermann's cell phone, which was active during the times of the victim's disappearance, and subscribed to Heuermann's home address in Massapequa Park. Although cell site records from that time period no longer existed, investigators obtained cellular billing records which showed general location information for Heuermann's cell phone. A review of these records, as well as Heuermann's American Express records, showed numerous instances where Heuermann was located in the same general locations as the burner cell phone used to contact victims Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello, as well as the use of Barnes and Bartholomew's cell phones when they were used to check voicemail and make taunting phone calls after the women disappeared. Significantly, investigators could find no instance where Heuermann was in a separate location from these other cell phones when such a communication event occurred. So what they're saying is his cell phone, based on call records, etc., were in the same location as the two phones that he used of the victims, and they can find no instance where they could place him elsewhere. For example, on July 10, 2009, the last day Melissa Bartholomew was seen alive, both the burner phone and defendant Heuermann's phone were in the area of Massapequa and traveled together towards New York City. Thereafter, both Miss Bartholomew's phone and Heuermann's phone traveled eastbound towards Massapequa. So it means all three were together. Phones, right? Thereafter, both Miss Bartholomew's phone and Heuermann's phone. Well, what about his burner phone? Probably all three would have traveled together. On July 14, 2009, at approximately 7:15 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner phone used to contact Miss Bartholomew prior to her disappearance had activity in Manhattan. On the same date, between 6:58 and 7:22 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone also showed calls locations in New York City. So when he used his regular phone and then the burner phone, he'd use that to make his calls to the sex workers, and they were always in the same general location each time. I gotta get this thing on my neck again. So, hold on. It might make noise, but my neck's killing me. Yeah, he didn't really, even though he wrote down all this crap, he didn't seem to know what the hell he was doing. Shit. Gotta do it this way. Here we go. Oh, Jesus. Maybe this will help out. Did earlier today. All right, there we go. Hurts like hell, but following Miss Bartholomew's disappearance on July 17, 2009, at approximately 12:40 p.m., a male caller used the Bartholomew phone to contact Miss Bartholomew's family. The Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is 2,372 feet, or a little less than a half mile, from Heuermann's then office space, which at the time was located at 19 West 36th Street, New York. On July 22, 2009, at 6:51 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner cell phone had activity in New York City, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 19 West 34th Street, which is approximately 872 feet, or 0.16 miles, from defendant Heuermann's then office space, which was 19 West 36th Street. On the same date at approximately 5:12 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone listed a call located in New York City. On July 23, 2009, at approximately 1:39 p.m., cell site records indicate that the burner's cell phone had activity in New York City, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 19 West 34th Street, which is approximately 872 feet or 0.16 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On that same date, at approximately 12:48 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone listed a call located in New York, New York. So basically, he's just there, you know. I mean, wherever the burner phone is, his cell phone is. He is. Like, he's in the same exact spot. Trying to move this thing around. Alright. On July 23rd, 2009, at 6:42, a male caller used Bartholomew's phone to contact her family. The Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to cellular tower located at 275 West 39th Street, which is 872 feet, you know, or 0.16 miles from Heuermann's then office space. This must be all those other calls, I think. Trial had been moved to October. Yeah, well, I had my tickets and everything to go, Karen. On August 10, 2009, based on subpoena travel documents, Heuermann departed for Iceland and all phone activity for Bartholomew's phone stopped. On August 18, 2009, Heuermann returned from Iceland and phone activity for Bartholomew's phone resumed the next day. Like, he was just couldn't wait to get back. On August 19, 2009, at approximately 7:23 p.m., a male caller used Bartholomew's phone to contact Miss Bartholomew's family. Hey, thanks, Timothy Cecil. Cell site records indicate that the Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 249 West 39th Street. On August 26, 2009, between approximately 11:29 and 11:34 a.m., a male caller used the Bartholomew phone to contact Miss Bartholomew's family. According to cell site records, the Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to the cellular tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is less than a half mile from Heuermann's office. So he probably just would walk down the street and, you know, turn on the phone and just make calls, because you're not, you know, nobody's going to know. You'd think they'd be able to triangulate that, but I mean, when? You know, you'd have to be able to triangulate it quickly. Like, if they had been tracking Bartholomew's phone, waiting for a call to come in, and they could have had, you know, I guess you'd have to put up cameras around the city and then look at the exact time he called and see what people had their, you know. There's just so many people. Like, if he went to, you know, the square, you could just sit there and there's like 10,000 people just milling about, you know. Thanks, Donna D, Allie Cake, and Wendy Van Rokel. American Express records obtained via subpoena revealed recurring Google Pay payments made by defendant Heuermann to Tinder. They had Tinder back then? How many years ago? An online dating and geo-social networking application used to find dates or hookups. Records were then obtained from Tinder, which revealed that Tinder profile was set up in the name Andy, which is his middle name, with links to burner cell phone 347-885-1697, subscribed to in the fictitious name of Andrew Roberts, using an email account, springfieldman9@aol.com. I wonder if that's one of the ones. You know what? There's something that was weird. I showed Zoza. I told you guys about it yesterday, but there's a one of his email accounts went to this other person's name. I mean, it actually, the full email was like somebody else's name, but it was associated with him. Then I looked up that person. I went to their been verified, and they too have the same email address. And it was a black lady. She seemed kind of younger. I don't know what was going on with that. A really strange situation there. I think we're at we're 60 short of the goal currently. No, wait, yeah, 70. You're right, 70. Yeah. 80 plus, yeah, 70 short. Now maybe you guys can all band together. Who knows? Scribe fictitious name of Andrew Roberts using an email account. Springfield man. Here, let me look up Heuermann on here. Yeah. There's some that came in here. Let's see. We got earlier, well, Donna D and Lisa and then Stephanie on PayPal. All right, so check it out. Here's Rex Heuermann on Ben Verified. He's got 21 email addresses. This one right here came up with a totally different person. Really weird stuff. But anyways, I want to see if that one that we just listed on there is on there. The Springfield man, is that on here? I sent that lady an email. I don't see the Springfield man on there. But man, 21 email? Who the hell has 21 emails? Ridiculous. And then phone numbers, he has 6. I tried all those in that website that I use. Thank you, Karen Andrews. Hope the goal is made tonight. I'm in Indianapolis for the Southern Baptist Convention. Ah, nice. Well, be good. I got that massage thing's like wiggling around. Okay. The Springfield Man 9 AOL account was established with AOL. Records obtained from Verizon showed that defendant Heuermann's cell phone was used on December 11, 2022 for a period of over 3 hours to access the fictitious Springfield Man 9 AOL account. Huh. Similarly, records obtained from T-Mobile show that burner cell phone, 347-304-2671, was used on multiple dates, including November 8, 2022, to access this account. So, I mean, he was still using his burner phone. A review of call records for these 2 additional burner cell phones revealed that both cell phones were used extensively between 2021 and 2023 for prostitution-related contacts with sex workers or massage parlors. In addition, cell site warrants for these burner cell phones revealed that just like the burner cell phones defendant Heuermann used to contact the victims prior to their disappearances, these additional burner cell phones had frequent cell site activity. Thank you, Georgina Stoliker. Frequent cell site activity in Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park. Specifically, the records reveal that both these burner cell phones consistently had activity. So both of those burner phones they're mentioning revealed that both these burner cell phones consistently had activity on the cellular towers that provided coverage to defendant Heuermann's residence in Massapequa Park and his business. So what they're really showing here is that he's still doing the same kind of thing now with burner phones. Legal process served on Google seeking records or accounts associated with the device. Identifiers of these additional burner cell phones revealed a connection to yet another burner or junk email account named the Hawk, probably the Hawk 080672 Gmail, hereafter Thawk email account. Google records further indicated that Thawk email, according account, was subscribed in the fictitious name Thomas Hawk. So I guess not it's Thomas. A search warrant revealed that Thawk email account associated with the burner cell phone 347-304-2671 was used to conduct thousands of searches related to sex workers, sadistic torture-related pornography, and even CSAM material. And I don't know if I want to read any of these, but Mistress Long Island, mature escorts in Manhattan, girl begging for, to be attacked. Another one. So you sort of wonder, like, is this what he's into this stuff? So he probably forced situations like that in his torture chamber. Pretty girl with bruised face. What in the hell? Look at that. Pretty girl with bruised face porn. What human being out there, I guess Rex Heuermann, would think that was something that you would ever even want to look up and be slightly like attracted to that? That's just so ridiculous. Torture redhead porn. So probably something like his wife. The porn would be like the proxy for his wife. And then he mentions a really young schoolgirl there. I'm not going to read that one. Skinny redhead tied up porn. Short fat girl tied up porn. Look at all this stuff. Who in the hell's even like excited about this shit? And then it says Asian twink here, which is interesting because we have the Asian male out there. I can't really. None of the rest of the stuff I can even read. Blonde hair girl, young and depressed. What a stupid search. I mean, yeah. Man, this is disgusting shit, man. Anyways, the Hawk email account was also used to conduct in excess of 200 searches between March 2022 and June of 2023 related to active and known serial killers. The specific disappearances and murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, and the investigation into their murders. These searches or articles accessed include but are not limited to. All right, we're currently, $62 short still. And this is what it says down here. Why could law enforcement not trace the call made by the Long Island serial killer? So you want to see why they weren't able to? Because you know the answer? I mean, obviously you would know the answer, right? Because you're... Why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught? Hey, thank you so much, DK. Now it's 52. Why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught? Long Island serial killer phone call, Long Island serial killer update, Long Island serial killer update 2022, FBI active, because it was getting kind of bigger. From like 2000 on, they had that website they put up there. I'm not even sure it's still there, that website. FBI active serial killers. Serial killers by state. Map of all known serial killers. Unsolved serial killers. He's just wanting his stuff to be on there, America's 5 most notorious old cases, 11 currently active serial killers, 8 terrifying active serial killers. John Bittroff, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought much of that until now, because John Bittroff was in the area at the same time he was. And I think he knew. That's so interesting, because he knew. So isn't that interesting? Because when Sandra Costilla was associated with Bittroff and they were looking at him being the killer, he already knew that he had killed her. And then he typed in Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, redacted name of relative of Melissa Bartholomew. Oh, they redacted it. So then it was Waterman. Cops launch Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force. Mapping the Long Island murder victims. Inside the Long Island serial killer and Gilgo Beach. The Gilgo Beach Killer Criminal Minds. In Long Island serial killer investigation, new phone technology may be key to breaking the case. He's probably getting nervous on that one. The Hawk email account was also used to search for a number of podcasts and or documentaries regarding the investigation, as well as repeatedly viewing hundreds of images depicting the murder victims and members of their immediate families. Significantly, defendant Heuermann also searched for and viewed articles concerning the very task force that was investigating him. Cops launched Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force. Man, see, that was March 28th. I remember all this stuff. Remember the the MW or WH, I mean? You know, I guess it could be H too. A search warrant conducted on the fictitious Springfield Man 9 AOL account further revealed selfie photographs that appeared to have been taken by defendant Rex Heuermann of himself and sent to other persons to solicit and arrange for sexual activity. Was that working for you, Rex? Yeah, I don't know, Rex. I don't think that's going to work. Just letting you know. I mean, especially, look at this one over here, really? And sent the others to solicit and arrange for sexual activity, further linking Heuermann to the fictitious email account and the burner cell phone 347-304-2671 used to establish the account. Defendant Rex Heuermann was further linked to the burner cell phone 347-304-2671 because on May 19, 2023, defendant Heuermann was observed by law enforcement via video and field surveillance at a cell phone store in Midtown Manhattan and purchased additional minutes which were added to this burner cell phone. And there he is, paying cash for the phone, just like he says in his little, what do you call it, checklist, I guess. Analysis of Springfield Man 9 account also led to the discovery of another email account, hunter1903a3@gmail.com, used on February 14th, 2021, Valentine's Day, to send an image of a sex worker from upstate New York between two of Heuermann's secret email accounts. Further investigation revealed that Hunter1903 account was created in February 14, 2021, using burner cell phone 347-885-1697 as the user's phone number and SMS recovery number, and subscribed in the fictitious name Andy Roberts, the same fake name linked to the target Tinder profile and burner cell phone, as well as the same alias utilized, look at target Tinder profile, as well as the same alias utilized by defendant Heuermann in communication with numerous potential sex partners responding to his advertisements for sex, and the fictitious birthday of August 6, 1972, which corresponds to the digital ending of the burner account THOC 080672. I wonder if that whatever date that is, 0806, does that have meaning to him? He wasn't born then, I don't think. I think he was born in September. But hey, guys, we're only 52 short. If you're out there and you can help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, every month you guys send in super chats that help support the channel, and then I also give away a lot of the income that comes in, turns out like out of the gross income, 33% or 50% of the net revenue, it's about the same thing, to various true crime related charities, including our DNA fund and our scholarship fund, and multiple other places. And I guess I'd like to be able to keep being supported and keep being able to do that. So if you can, that'd be great. See, so what's the deal with this? As well as the same alias utilized by defendant Heuermann in communication with numerous potential sex partners. In addition, Google provided IP address information for the user's acceptance of the terms of service, which revealed that the terms of service were accepted on February 14, 2021 from IP address 24.1847531. Significantly, records were obtained from Altus doing business at Optimum, which is an internet service provider, indicating that the IP address at defendant Heuermann's home address was also 24.184.75.31. That's interesting. Moreover, based upon SCPD records for the official website, GilgoNews.com, a website maintained by the SCPD to disperse news pertaining to this investigation, defendant Heuermann's home IP address was used on May 23, 2020. Who you talking? Oh, David Arnold was probably messaging his wife. Accidentally put it into the chat there. You know what I'm saying? Or a girlfriend or something. Yeah. Trying to get this thing set up on the right spot here. It's kind of loud though. I can hear it. Thanks, FarQ. My sales pitch didn't work. Moreover, based upon SPD records for the official website, GilgoNews.com. See, that was the website that they created. They don't have that anymore. The website maintained by the SP, they don't need it. To disperse news pertaining to this investigation, defendant Heuermann's home IP address was used on May 23, 2020 and July 3, 2020 to access the official news concerning the investigation. Records obtained from JetBlue also show that the same IP address was also utilized to book flights to defendant Heuermann and his wife in 2018. Hey, thanks, Navy swimmer. You must be a SEAL. And if you were, thank you. Oh, okay. Husband. Oh, so you're David Arnold's a woman. Okay. That's funny. You're just using his account, though. When analyzing the usage of all devices and accounts used by defendant Heuermann, there appears to be a clear pattern wherein Heuermann used burner phones and burner junk email addresses. 1. To contact workers and sex partners to conduct extensive searches related to sex and prostitution, violent, sadistic, and child pornography. And 3. Seek online information about the authorities investigating this crime. These burner cell phones and email accounts with fictitious identities were used in an effort to conceal Heuermann's true identity. Sorry for that extra noise in the background, but I'm trying to... What do you mean, no, you're a male? Husband? Oh, you're a husband. Okay, Jesus. I thought I said up above that you were a guy and you were texting your wife. And then you say, no, husband, but yes. Well, maybe you're a guy. Okay, maybe... I guess... maybe I screwed up. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I guess if you're gay, then you'd have a male husband. Okay. All right. Anyway, seek online information about the authorities investigating this crime. These burner cell phones and email accounts with fictitious identities were used in an effort to conceal humor. Now I'm totally confused. That's hilarious. I'm way male. I don't even know, man. See, now I'm confused again. Okay, there you go. See? That's what I thought. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that at all. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, you learn something new every day in here. All right, now we're only 48 short, you guys. 48. Couldn't all these freaks with 326 people get there? Because we didn't even get the actual number last night. $3 short, but it was close. Now, DNA analysis of hairs recovered from examination of victims' bodies. During the course of the investigation, each of the 4 victims' bodies were examined by forensic scientists. Renee Barnes had been left restrained by 3 leather belts, one of which was utilized to tie Barnes' feet, ankles, and legs together. During the examination of the belts, a female human hair was recovered from the buckle on one of the belts. On or about December 18th, 2010, the Suffolk County Laboratory this hair gave the hair to the lab and was able to determine it corresponded to a Caucasian head. You know, this is so old here. That newer document's way better on that. You're rustling around with the contraption is funny. Yeah, I got to keep putting it on my neck because they're opening evidence bags. It's not quite as loud though, right? Well, see. There you go. Oh, shit. It's like when I have my head turned to the right, it just keeps getting more sore and sore and sore to the sore. As noted above, the female hair on Barnes, 2 female hairs on Waterman, and female hair on Costello. See, a lot of these were just now done. Like after this, even, this document, is when they were compared to and given an actual sequence. Thanks, Georgina Stoliker. We're now 44 short. Yeah, it's kind of more like a muscle between the shoulder and your neck in that area. I got this spot on this thing yesterday where it's in there, and every time it go through, it go like this big knot or something. Forensic Laboratory number 2, on or about March 23rd, the Suffolk County Crime Lab requested Forensic Laboratory number 2. Yeah, mitochondrial. See, this is where I'm saying, like, the new one is way better than this. So we don't even need to do that. Male hair linked to defendant Heuermann. The hair was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis, and on or about July 31st, 2020, Forensic Laboratory number 1 was able to generate a DNA profile for the hair recovered on the bottom of Waterman burlap. Specifically, Forensic Lab 1 determined that the hair belonged to a male mitochondrial haplogroup V7A. So it doesn't really, it's not anywhere near as accurate as they have now. Registered to defendant Heuermann and the investigation of cellular billing records and the other items on or about January 26th. Surveillance team observed and recovered a pizza box thrown by defendant Rex Heuermann into a garbage can located in front of 385 Fifth Avenue. The pizza was sent to the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory for analysis, where a swab was taken from the leftover pizza crust. And it's sent to the swab from the pizza crust abandoned by the defendant Heuermann. On or about April 28th, a detective hand-delivered from Forensic Laboratory Number 1 a portion of a male hair on Waterman to Forensic Laboratory Number 2. On or about June 12th, 2023, Forensic Laboratory Number 2 was able to determine as to the male hair on Waterman and the swab from the pizza crust that the mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same, specifically at a rate that would be, 99.96 to 1. But that's so much greater now. It's in the, 600 zeros after. Arrest and search Heuermann, his residence, and other locations. On or about the evening of July 13, 2023, defendant Rex A. Heuermann was arrested by Suffolk County police officers. Searches of his residence as well as other locations are currently ongoing. At the time of his arrest, defendant Heuermann had on his person the burner cell phone 347-304-2671, which was linked to the Thoc email account used to conduct the online searches described above. If convicted of the current charges, defendant Rex A. Heuermann faces multiple sentences of life without parole. Based on the serious, heinous nature of these offenses, the strength of the people's case, the life incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extreme measure this defendant took to attempt to avoid apprehension for an extended period of time, the recent sadistic and child pornography searches, use of fictitious names, email, cell phones, burner accounts, online counter surveillance, and his access to and history of possessing firearms, the people believe that the only means to ensure the defendant return to court is to remand the defendant without bail. So there you go. So now you go back to here and you think about how Waterman and all the rest of them, Bartholomew. And so this is back in his earlier years. So some of this is from 2000 and up until like 2003, it sounds like. Problems. You guys want to go over this again? I think it's, I don't know why, but when I go over this stuff, it seems like each time I think about stuff more. And now that we've just went over the other ones, so you got DNA, tire marks. So DNA, those are problems. So DNA, tire marks. And a lot of the other supplies is to mitigate that. Blood stains, that's a problem. Fingerprints. And he used knives in the killing of, see, I think Costilla, he learned a lot. He probably learned he didn't want to use knives anymore, and that he also has to remove their hands and their head. But I mean, God, that just seems like such a huge thing to start doing. But that would remove the fingerprint element. So we have a witness, trace source, foot shoe prints. Those are all problems. Now, what do you guys think misleaders are? So why would that be a problem to have a misleader? I don't know what he's saying there. Yeah, don't get stopped by the police. Don't get your truck stuck. Thank you, Jessica Schubach. We're now 41 short. Who's going to do it, man? Who's going to do it? Truck stop, fingerprints. in gloves. So as we've learned over the years, you can get fingerprints out of the inside of gloves. So even after wearing gloves to keep your fingerprints off of items, you don't want to discard your gloves because there's fingerprints there. Well, there's Donna D again. Thank you. I feel like I've got a good spot on this massager right this second. It's a spot that I didn't really think of, but it seems like it's hitting whatever it is that... It's like this weird thing almost right below my shoulder. Thanks, Donna. So now we're only 16 short. I was wondering that too. Whatever misleaders means. I have no idea. And so you can get fingerprints outside of gloves now. And then plastic bags match to box. So you don't want to leave the plastic bags at the crime scene and somehow have them be able to be traced back to the box that was purchased. Like as if there's serial numbers on the plastic bags. Thank you, Jen P. And then you don't want to leave hair and fibers. Oh man, it was so good and it just fell off over here. Shit. Oh man, I had it in the perfect spot and then all right. I think I got it kind of back there again. Yeah, hair and fibers. Well, he failed that. And I mean, that he just did so horribly on that one problem. So one of the problems he mentioned is really one of his biggest downfalls. And then the supplies, booties, make sure his, I guess, I don't know if that affects your footprints or whatever, but he's wearing booties. This guy is Dexter, right? Except Dexter killed bad people. This guy's a wacko. So he's wearing, I actually picture him wearing like a Tyvek suit almost, and the booties and lye and acid, police scanner he used, rope and cord, he used those on pretty much all the victims, it seemed like, the later ones anyways. And then he got a saw, probably used that on Peaches, Jessica, let me get the folder here. Yeah, I would say Jessica Taylor, Valerie Mack, and Peaches all had that used on them. And then I would also think that the other people like I'm pretty sure let's see, not Valerie, Karen Vergata is probably connected. She was dismembered as well. So we got some of these, and I think some of those ones we went over. 82, I think he might have a couple murders in that 82 to 90 something spree. Although, I don't know, now that we find out that one of the people was found in a plastic bag in 82, I don't know, because that one, while that fits what he did later, that's not what he did at the beginning. He started doing the plastic bags at a later date. Yeah, they count. I mean, they count. PayPal is sort of different because I use it for, like, I augment sometimes the monthly or donations that I make and so forth. I just kind of, it eats away in there. Ah, man, this thing is just right on whatever this nerve is. It's just been causing me problems. It's weird. It's almost like at the edge of my lat or something. Oh, well, cool. All right, so I think we're pretty much at the goal, but if you guys want to help out, that'd be great. Still, We keep having days where we just sneak up to it, and then we used to be where it didn't matter, you know, it was just kind of a... Alright, so then we've got hair nets for keeping his hair from falling out, but what he forgot about was hair got put on some of the blankets and things and the burlap sacks that he wrapped people in. And I think he used burlap sacks to speed up decomposition. Oh, thank you, Lesney, on a Cash App there. Then, I mean, all this stuff here is just kind of disturbing shit, you know. This photo film, what is he talking about? The burn can, we get that. Burn can, you put in anything that you want to destroy, like the gloves, etc. Then the foam drain cleaner. I mean, why would you need a foam drain cleaner unless you have like the victim's blood inside the shower or something, and you've got to use that to clean that. And then body wash, wipes to wipe down the body, make sure all your DNA is off of them. Tarps and drop cloth, make sure blood doesn't get from the table that you built all over the floor itself and on other items, as you know. I mean, it's just insane. Large electric clips. So I'm not really sure. Was he torturing them with electricity? I mean, that's kind of weird. Why do you need a large electric clip? What are you doing with those? Are those for holding something else? Then you've got ratchet cargo straps. So I feel like those are those ones, you know, that you ratchet, probably to strap the victim down and they can't move. Again, just like Dexter. You know, how Dexter would wrap them up. But the thing is, a lot of people are saying, man, he probably watched Dexter. I don't think so. I don't think so. And the reason is because this document was edited before Dexter, the show, even started. If anybody want to look that up and tell me what year Dexter started? I think it was like 2005 or 6 or something. So it really couldn't have been him, because they say in this document that it was last updated on between 2001 and 2003. I would think Dexter would be like 2005. (2006). There you go. See, that's exactly right. So that means it's not going to. It can't be. It can't be. So he didn't look at Dexter and fill out this document here. He probably loved the show, though. I bet he had that one on replay. Probably watched it 75 times. Then the dump sites. Dump site Mill Road, which is pretty crazy because you go out to the... And so here I think it's actually... This document was created after he killed Valerie Mack. Specifically. And look at right here. There's Mill Road. This is Mill Road right here. And Valerie Mack was found right there. So obviously the document was related to her. But also Jessica Taylor was found out there in 2003. But I think that's what led to the same dump site. Like, I think that's what he's talking about here. Look at what it says. Dump site, Mill Road. Dump site 2. Guess where that was, everybody? I just figured this out today while I was doing my... I recorded like a 30-minute show. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll try to edit that thing. I don't know. But check it out. Dump site 2 is the expressway. Right down here. Dump site 2 is this area right here. He decided on it. Ocean Parkway. Not expressway, the parkway down here. It's obvious. Just look at it. Mill Road, and guess what? The rest of the body parts were put on Ocean Parkway. Yeah, the black Peaches is black. And that's what I was saying in here when he mentions unknown black. That's what I was saying. And my thing that I recorded earlier today was Peaches. If that's what it says. Like, it almost seems like it says target unknown black person. But Peaches died before, I think Peaches was shit, I had it open a minute ago. I think it's before this document, so I don't think so. I think it was another one. I just said Peaches is what, changed the, it was normally like white girls and so forth, but Peaches is black. He also had the Asian male in there. Yeah, Peaches is 1997, so it couldn't have been this document right here. He already killed her, though, so maybe he was interested in doing that again, though. Anyways, the dump site Mill Road, and then dump site 2 is Ocean Parkway, because that's what he decided on. And he'd already put body parts there prior, so he's like, well, where should I put this? So what's interesting about this, he doesn't say Ocean Parkway in this document, because what that means is he's got a bunch of dump sites that he uses, and he just decided that night to use Ocean Parkway because he had already put bodies on Ocean Parkway. Valerie Mack was put there, and so was Jessica Taylor. She was already put there, and also Valerie Mack's kid was put there before this was created right here. So dump site 2 is something like, okay, in his own head, which one should I use? Ocean Parkway, or this one, or that one, or this 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 one? He's got a bunch. And then it says, so those are the dump sites. And then target, Megan, it's interesting to have Megan there because Megan Waterman wasn't killed until, I think, like 2000, and let's see, what is it? 2010 is when she was found. I guess I'd have to open up the folder again. Lisk. Megan Waterman. Where'd that go? Jesus. I'm going to turn this off now. It just keeps falling all over the place. But it seemed like it worked pretty good. What the heck is it? It's wild. Oh, way up here. So Megan Waterman was... Her remains were found in 2010. And actually in the same year she was still alive, so 2010. So I don't know how Megan's name gets put on there. I don't know if that's a different Megan or he knew of her before and was just picking her out again. Maybe he'd been following Megan for a few years and just decided on that one. Yeah, like the Costilla and that's why I keep making mistakes on Costilla, Costillo, and Costilla. I mean, there's like two of those. But anyways, then it says, small is good. Almost all of his victims were really small. And then, it looks like target unknown black. And then he was going to get rid of, inspect the vehicle, make sure it's ready to go, get a hold of the target, recon the dump site, check it out. So that means he drove by Ocean Parkway alone with nobody in the vehicle or anything. And then locate dump site number 2, which is actually Ocean Parkway. So dump site, this one would be the one on Mill Road, dump site 1. So he's reconning dump site 1, then locate dump site 2, and then check out the weather report, and then look for video cameras, and look for ones in the pickup area. So here's what I think, you guys. I think early on, he was a different type of killer, where at the beginning, where we're reading these things here, it was more of an opportunistic type guy. He'd drive around. I think some people he just picked up, maybe even hitchhikers when he was much younger. I think maybe he drove through those areas that have sex workers, because it says he went there to go hunting. You know, pick him up, and he didn't really hunt later. He would make calls and set up. I mean, it's different. When he started using the burner phones, it became a whole different type of situation. Where these ones here, we don't really know what happened, like how the communications happened. Were these girls, was Jessica Taylor, did she just randomly get approached by him while she's standing on a street corner? Or did he set up something and meet her? You know, how did the Valerie Mack thing get set up? You know, I don't even know if there were burner phones in 2000. You know, to be honest with you, I think cell phones were pretty new in 2000, you know, like the smaller ones that people use. You know, 95, 96, 97. I don't know if they were making burner phones or if that was even a concept. Could be, though. Hey, thanks, Sandy Shirley. It's not spelled that way. And yeah, the same year that she went missing. But the problem I just explained to you, though, this whole document was written in... Here, I'll go back up to it. I'll show you. Well, it's actually in my notes over here. For the... not that one. I think it's this. Yeah, so it says, Gilgo Homicide Task Force recently discovered a Microsoft Word document entitled HK 2002 to 2004. The document was discovered in unallocated space, meaning it was deleted. It just hasn't been written over yet. No portions of it had been written over. A forensic analysis of HK 2002-04 document reveals that it was not only a locally created draft, but also recovered from a hard drive that indicates it was utilized by Heuermann himself. While the original document appears to have been created in 2000, I mean, that's pretty interesting, right? That's Valerie Mack. I could see after Valerie Mack's death being like, oh shit, I gotta work on this. Based on the original title, HK, let's see, 2000 to 2003. So that's what the original title was. It was 2000 to 2003. What about Asian male? What does that got to do with anything? This iteration of the Word document titled HK 2002 to 2004 appears to have been created and modified between 2001 and 2002. Based on foregoing and the facts set forth, the task force members believe 2000 and 2002 to be references to calendar years. So it was modified in 2001 and 2002. It hadn't been updated. So I don't know how he would have known about Megan unless unless it's a different Megan, you know. What's going on? No, it was an Asian male. That was just, there's no black man that was dismembered. Okay, you guys are responding. All right, and then it said, all right, so we went through the video cameras and so forth. And then the prep work, look how disturbing that part is. You know, set up a stage, you know, like almost like, you know, like Dexter would do. Remember how he put the table out, you know, make a holding area, build a table with a crossbar and a hard point. And then after I've killed her, destroy the file, which means like he must have like a computer dossier file on them, or perhaps even the one we're looking at right here. Change tires on your car. Burn the gloves that you're wearing. That would make sure that the fingerprints inside the gloves Don't make it out. Dispose of the pictures. So that's disturbing to me. That's the second time we've seen that. Why is it saying dispose of pics? What pictures? Where is that, like your recon pictures? Is that what you're talking about? Like you go around and take pictures of dump sites maybe? I don't know. And then have a story set. And then over here it says, notes, spur of the moment, cover, Stockholm Syndrome. The more you do, the more clues you give. Look at the painting. These are all words from the book Mindhunter. Organized versus disorganized. Page 162, sex substitution. So these are all in the book Mindhunter. This part here, recon reports. So video cameras on Long Island Expressway, Route 112 to Route 110. Here, let's see. Where is the Long Island Expressway? Long Island Expressway. Is that it right there? The I-495? And then he's saying Route 112. Let's see. Route 112. Yeah. Yeah, I bet it's going to be over in Manorville. That's exactly what I was thinking. So here's Route 12. And there's 495. So there you go. 112. And the other one's going to be the right of this, in my opinion. No, it might be the other way. Route 110. Yeah, it's the other direction. Well, that's not going to work. No. Route 110 Long Island. I don't know. So there was 12. Let's see if these other ones have names. Yeah, so there's 112 there. $25, $24. Yeah, it's just kind of interesting that it's over here. Surveillance camera. I don't know where there's 111 here. So it must be over in this direction. So I'm not sure why he's looking for that. And then it says video cameras on, what do you think SS Parkway is? Is that like Suffolk? Let's see. SS Parkway? Southern State Parkway. Oh, okay. So that's right here. Oh, there's 110 right there. So that means 495 goes up there, though. Okay. 110. So he wants to look for cameras in that area all along, all the way from here to there. And then right up here is where Valerie, Mack, and Jessica Taylor were. No, I didn't see your comments. I don't even know what you're talking about. You talking about the sex worker that came forward recently that met up with Rex Heuermann? We've seen her on TV. Yeah. Oh, I kind of remember that lady. I remember her saying that. It's kind of an old story, Sherry. 110, 112, and then we were just looking at the SS Parkway. I just want to see what he might be trying to do here. And then Parkway Route 231 to exit 30. Let's see. So where's 231? It says Parkway. It's still called that. There's 111. Does it continue? That's down. Now that's 231 here. Okay, so this is SS Parkway 231. And the other one was to exit 30. So how do we know how to get to what exit number it is? It's weird. That must mean he plans out the entire route. Yeah, we had that lady on, like, you know, it was a long time ago, but that wasn't on my show, but like we played the interview, I believe, anyways. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was one of the four. Wasn't the black? Oh, wasn't the black male cross-dresser one of these up here? One of the four found by Valerie, Mack, Jessica Taylor. I don't know if he was dismembered though. Like, it's right up here. There was unidentified male here, and there was a male there, and then there was two right. That's where Mack and Taylor were. There's a ton of desolate area out there after NASA. I wouldn't mind seeing it again, though, Sherry, if you can find it and send it to me. That'd be, see, everything's more interesting now to me in this case, because it's all, the whole sinister, everything is starting to all make sense, and really this whole diabolical life and just the sheer numbers of people that he likely killed is much larger. So a lot of the stuff is good to see again. What does that mean? Cameras on SS Parkway Route 231 to exit 30. Oh, there was 10. He's actually counting the cameras. Jesus. Didn't even notice that the first time. And then target info. They got the cell phone information. Then body prep. You know, this is body prep for discarding. I don't know. Well, if you can find it, send it to me. Anyways, it says Washington body inside and all cavities. Remove trace evidence, fingerprints, hair. So that means remove their hands. And, well, I guess, no, I mean, he's talking about body prep, though. Is he talking about himself? Or what's he talking about? I thought this is about the victim. Yeah. So when he's saying remove trace evidence, fingerprints, and hair. So remove your hair, but then also I think he's talking about removing their hands so that they can't, be identified. Remove trace DNA. Remove ID marks, tattoo marks. So we've got that. He started doing that. At least we know for certain, starting with Jessica Taylor in 2003. Remove marks from torture. Remove head and hands. So remove marks from torture. So is he cutting off other body parts to mask that too? And then remove head and hands. That would get rid of the fingerprint and any dental records. And then now package for transport. Put all of there's no other way to read any of this stuff. There's no, I can't imagine Heuermann actually wanting to go to trial. Seems kind of ridiculous. Then dispose of the following: tools and devices, clothes and personal items, the drop cloths he used, the wipes and towels that he used, the props and toys, anything that touched the victim, anything that I was, when he says you wore, meaning he's talking to himself. So he's really saying, hey, what I wore, get rid of those. Destroy book and computer files. Well, guess what? That book right there is 100%, in my opinion, the Mindhunter's book that he was using. And let's see, and this says burn gloves. Burn the gloves, I mean. So you burn the gloves that he was wearing that might have fingerprints still inside. Dispose of box of plastic bags because he doesn't want the bags found to lead back to him. He probably paid cash to buy the box. And then things to remember, be concerned about the sound, make it more soundproof. Get sleep before hunt. Too tired creates problems. Hit harder next time because I had to take too many hits to knock the person out before. So now I'm going to hit him harder in the face or in the neck or something like that. And then, then if I get more sleep and I got more noise control, everybody, there's more playtime. Yeah, well, that's right. But I wonder if he's talking about his own hair off of the body. But yeah, I mean, that would get rid of the hair if you, remove the hands and head, right? And then use push pins to hang the drop cloths. And I think he's doing that because the tape would have fingerprints on it. And likely he wouldn't remember and just pull the cloth and throw it somewhere and then leave his fingerprint on there. You have to remember to remove all the tape that he put on there. The pins are easy. You just take the pins out and the cloth comes off. Use heavy rope for neck. Light rope broke under stress. So that means he killed before and the rope broke under stress that other time. And then it says, hunt too long, seen in the area too long, don't do that. Remember, don't charge for gas, buy it with cash. And then recon video cameras in the pickup area next time. Again, next time means that there was a time before. And I noticed after I went through these that they were kind of circling some of the same stuff like, where was that? Right there, next time. Hit harder next time. Then this one's pickup area next time. So those that means it's going to be the next time because there's been a time before. Oh, nice. Looks like Justin Ross Harris is getting released. Pending hearing. Yeah, that guy got just absolutely screwed. Probably going to go to trial because he thinks he's smarter. Yeah, he's going to be like Kohberger. See, when you go over this, KK, when you go over this stuff, can't you see that Kohberger is exactly the same way? Yeah, well, I mean, he's got his table. He's just going to have fun torturing and doing all. I mean, just picture Rex Heuermann in her house all by himself. There's this frightened, girl that he has strapped down on a table. He's got his, little booties on. He's got a drop cloth on the ground. This girl's probably live looking at all this stuff. And he's just got a big shit-eating grin on his face, taking photographs and torturing. And then at the very end, when he probably after he killed the person, he starts using the saw that he has and cuts off the parts that he needs to put in the different bags. But damn it, he wants to make sure that the bags that he leaves out in the woods don't lead back to the box that he has. Make sure that the rope's thicker, because last time, boy, it broke on that person, and we gotta, I mean, it's just, it's right out of a horror movie, you guys. I mean, if this stuff was filmed while he was doing it, it would be exactly what you'd see in, like, one of those B horror movies, like a legitimate, but he was really doing it. Hey, what was the name of that person you're talking about, Zozo? Maybe we'll look him up. Let's see. Maybe I'll just type in possible lisk victim black man name. Is that gonna work? Okay, so it's visible. Who is the suspected trans female lisk victim known as Asian male? That's different. Yeah, he was a trans. The Asian male was. Oh, is it Andre Jamal Isaac? That one? Let me just get that name. And that was in 2002. Okay, let's check it out. Oh, shit. What's going on with this? Why do I have to sign in here? I don't understand. I hate when you have to sign in. Let me try it over here. Do not know. Nope, yeah, it worked. I guess I had to just sign in again. Let me go like this. Get rid of Jamal. Andre Isaac with the... I don't see anything. Don't see it. Sugar Bear murder getting closer look by Gilgo Beach. All right, let's see. Let's take a look at this one. More than 20 years after the skull of a female impersonator was found embedded to an icy pond in Mauritius on Long Island, the murder case of Andre Isaac, known as Sugar Bear, is getting a closer look by Gilgo Beach investigators now that architect Rex Heuermann has been charged. The senior law enforcement source told PIX11 News that Isaac, 25, was fatally shot in the temple. The shooting isn't something he does, but he does have guns. And maybe he did do things differently. 2002, the temple with a Glock before noting that Heuermann has an arsenal, there you go, of 283 weapons. Heuermann has not been charged in the Andre Isaac case, and he's pleaded not guilty to the murders of 3 women who were found wrapped in camouflage burlap in Gilgo Beach in 2010. Isaac's mother, who has been waiting for answers. All right, so let's just try to use this to find this. Let's see, school found. I think it's 2000, let's just say 2 to 2003. And where was this? On Long Island. Yeah, boy. Alright, was this one? No. Isaac case first gained some attention after an Asian male dressed in women's clothing was discovered on Ocean Parkway. He was the only man among the 10 sets of remains ultimately found along the roadway. The John Joe has his skull crushed and was placed closest to the Gilgo 4. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney said on July 14th, after Heuermann was indicted, that he had searched online for torture and child porn. I want to see more about it. I got to find out where this guy was found. Oh, that's right there, I guess. Andre Jamal Sugar Bear Isaac. Police are searching for the killer of Sugar Bear. So this is from 2007. Okay. A professional drag queen whose torso was found in Arvern lot in December of 2002. Okay, let me change it to that then. So this is weird. Again, you got a torso and a head in different places. And where did it say in a lot? Arvern. Let me just put that word in there. This is just not working. Arveen, right? Arvern. No. And it might be because he's black. They didn't make an article about it. Don't know. Anyways, let's just read this one. Police said that the killer dumped the head with a single bullet wound to the head in a frozen pond where it was found on January 25th, 2003. Arms and legs belonging to the same victim were later found in a plastic bag miles away. See, that's exactly what Heuermann would use, plastic bags. This one actually sounds pretty interesting. Let me make this one. Make a folder on him. Folder. Call him Sugar Bear. And I'm going to put this article in that folder. Arms and legs belonging to the same victim were later found in a plastic bag miles away in Suffolk County. DNA tests done in Suffolk linked the body parts to a torso found clad in a skirt, black bodysuit, and tank top in Arvern on December 17, 2002. Hey, thanks, Lori B. At that time, police officers and detectives from the 100 precinct responded to an anonymous tip that there was a body in a plastic bag on Beach 63 near the boardwalk. In the bag, police said at the time, was a partial human torso with a head, without a head or extremities. A spokesperson for the medical examiner said at the time that it was a male torso, but further tests would be necessary to ascertain the age and other pertinent information. It took Suffolk County police officials more than a year and a half to identify the victim as Andre Jamal Isaac, 25, of East New York. Detectives showed the photo to transvestites in Manhattan. In May of 2004, one drag queen identified him as Sugar Bear. Another of the transvestites knew of Isaac's real name, and his mother was tracked down on Long Island. Suffolk police officials say that one of her son's friends had seen him leaving with a secret friend just before Thanksgiving of 2002, and he was never heard from again. Well, who's that secret friend? And yeah, given the date on this one, this could be the unknown black person that he's talking about. This is 2002. It's right in the middle of that. He was a talented female impersonator and dancer who would enter contests all over the East Coast. His mother said he was a big bear. That's right there. There you go. Well, that's interesting. I'm going to have to go try to look up that one a little bit more. But anyways, that is going to do it. Another long night. Or, 3 hours and 10 minutes. Jesus. Oh, boy. Well, it's in the same island, Long Island, anyways. So. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely in that same time period. Anyways, all right, I'm going to get going, you guys. So thank you for being here. Thank you to FarQ, gifted 5 memberships. Then FarQ. Then Donna D. FarQ again. Then Irene Cipher. Then Irene Cipher. Then FarQ again. Then FarQ again. And then Donna D. Alley Cake, David Arnold, H. Doc, Whiskey Boots, FarQ, Flounder 23, Donna D, FarQ, Alley Cake, FarQ, Tammy Lee, Donna D. I'm not cussing, you guys. Donna D, Michelle H, FarQ, Donna D, Michelle H, Alley Cake, Paulette Leonard, Brina Spratt, Kami, Lisa Valenzuela, Osiris Stewart, then Donna D again, then Alley Cake gifted a membership, Plato, Ozzy Trisha, Timothy Cecil, Donna D, Alley Cake, Wendy Van Rokel, Pancakes, Karen Andrews, Georgina Stoliker, Michelle H, DK, FarQ, Navy Swimmer, Georgina Stoliker, Jessica Schubach, Donna D, Jen P, Lori P. There you go. Well, thank you, everybody, and I appreciate getting to the goal basically, and hope you guys got some interesting. We did a couple different things. We got Stephan Stearns is going to be charged. They're going for the death penalty there. The state in the Delphi case just absolutely destroyed the stupid ass request that the defense tried to make. And then we just went over the entire first arrest warrant, or maybe it was even the bail thing again, on the very first, when he was first arrested, Heuermann. And then we just kind of went through a bunch of stuff again. And man, I feel like we have a pretty good grasp of what's going on in this case, don't you guys think? In Heuermann's, anyways. Probably have to get a little bit more on the, the cell phone data and so forth, but that's kind of boring. I mean, I know what it's saying and doing. It's just not, like, if you make a video on that, people just turn it in 2 seconds. They don't care. Anyways, thanks everybody for being here. We will see you guys tomorrow, and it's no problem if you can't help support the channel. That's fine. I'm trying to get with people that can and want to. If you can and want to, then that'd be great. But if you're somebody out there that can't afford it, I don't want you sending a nickel here. Okay. I want you to keep it and do whatever you can with it. All right. So thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And let's see, what's Blue doing? Is he doing anything? Oh, he's just looking. He's doing something. All right. Well, anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one
hit that
person
thumbs up.
that is a
Thumbs up, thumbs
crime
up.
dissector, like rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get ya
On a stretcher,
if you try and play me like
an old projector, crime victor is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, free connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector.
Cool deflector, interceptor.
The hell was
And
that?
I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector.
On his pector, with all respect, y'all. Just remember,
I have a temper fucking
Jack Show. I have no agenda. I know what's end up. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender.
And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody?
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and be safe out there.
Good night, everybody, and be safe out there. Good night, everybody. Yay!
Oh, boy. Everybody, that just didn't come out right, because you were so excited when you said the part about, the part that I say. You repeated it with happiness, and then you had the sad sound, which just shows that you're full of crap.
That isn't very nice, Gray. You're so mean.
All right. See you guys later.